Yo, what is good? My anime break. What is good, yo? It's my third time making this video. I finally figured out some of the problems that was going on, so let's hope this one works. Well, with that being said, guys, I am truly ecstatic at what we saw as a whole, and the God of High School. Not only is this showing us that they can do fast-paced action, but it's also showcasing just how ridiculously dope the action should continue to look as a whole. Not only did they give us a good amount of confirmation on what things kind of beat other things when we see all of these different monsters going against each other with the commissioners. We can tell that this red dragon just kind of destroyed another one of the monsters, so it's not like all monsters are equal. Clearly that one got bodied. To be fair, it did get caught off guard, so I'm not gonna rule it out just yet when it comes down to that, because in anime they truly like to pull that card where it's like, oh well, are you judging a character's monster off of one battle that it got kind of snuck up on? You know, like, it's kind of unfair to that monster. But to be fair, if the monster was as good as it was supposed to be, and it had multiple eyes, I don't know how it gets snuck up on. You got more eyes than humans, and not every human gets snuck up on, right? This man, this beast, had multiple upon multiple eyes and still got snuck up behind by a giant dragon who seemingly wrapped its neck around the building, so maybe it even knew when to put its head in to get behind it. So there's a lot of things that go into that alone I could talk about, and that the pacing and the way the show was talking, or like the way it kept going after that moment, you can tell it wasn't really that big of a deal. You know, they kind of just treated it like, oh yeah, this is a giant red dragon. It's wrapped around this, you know, small skyscraper. You know, it's just nothing. No one sees it. But I do have a anime person that was happy that one of the commissioners probably makes it out alive in this case, because it really did look like the guy who smokes was going to be gone. I'm hoping this is the same case for the guy with his family and kids, but being an assassin and him being here and not like fighting anywhere else, or like, you know, following up with what he said and the person's actually alive, it feels more or less that he's telling the truth, that that person, the announcer, is actually deceased, and that he took the family away, which just made the guy who smokes destroy him, absolutely obliterate this man. And then we come to find out this person's not even supposed to be here assassinating this commissioner, which then begs the question to how did he get the information from all the other knocks, and why was this information so easy to get? When we go to the boss, we find out all of their addresses are supposed to be secret, and maybe because he was on the screen and fought somebody, they like did as much research on just one of them and not all of them. But it's still suspicious on how quickly they gotten the information about one of the people who supposedly should not have any records of it besides the boss. And the boss automatically knows for a fact that it's a bug inside the tiger's belly, which is such a cool term, or like a cool way to put it. I've never heard someone say that, and it makes sense just because of who he is and how he's trying to raise tiger cubs himself with two main characters that have already entered the tournament. It just fits that criteria so perfectly good. So overall, with that battle alone completely blowing my mind, completely kept me on the edge of my seat, because these commissioners, these assassins, we shouldn't have any loyalty to them as of right now, because they both seem like they're on either the good side or the bad side, or they're both kind of mutual. They're just doing what they're doing to get stronger, just like anybody else would do in the show. So there might be a morally gray point or a morally gray mentality throughout this whole entire show where you're not necessarily a bad guy until you start killing kids and killing off people that aren't gonna benefit you and all this other stuff. And as we see it, our main character hasn't been shown to want to kill, right? He's never shown I'm going to kill you yet, and everybody he's fought and he hasn't gone overboard like other people have, and he's also gotten angry with people going overboard. So there could actually be good and bad, and that's why the tiger guy, the owner of, or the head of the God of High School Battles, was more or less calling there's certain people out there that will be heroes, right? And if you have heroes, then they should abide by certain things in the case of not killing innocents or threatening innocents and, you know, stealing and all this other stuff usually. So if he considers these people that are going to rise up to be heroes to help take care of the savage beaches, then we should have a good idea that there should be some good compass of, you know, good and bad. And right now I couldn't tell you if the commissioners are going to try to pull something at the end of the day, or if these assassins are truly the only bad people we got to worry about, and the commissioners are just very, very strong, and they're going to, you know, fight pretty fair. Because as we hear, just letting off your limiter and like using these beasts seemingly is a, you know, bad thing. Like, you get docked pay for weeks, and now that he's done it twice, he's getting docked pay for a half of a year. Months. You get docked months, but he's literally out a whole half of a year of getting paid because of his limiter was off. And that was the only way that someone actually came to help him, is because his limiter's off. So I don't know what to say about that, because he's quote-unquote the strongest one, and I think that's just probably due to the beast and due to how much they've actually seen of them fight. I don't know. I'm not even going to speculate on why they think he's the strongest. Sure, we saw him do some pretty cool stuff, but to be fair, he was in a position where he was about to be fighting all three of them, and he never looked panicked once, right? And then when he gets saved, of course he does the classic, I had it all handled and under control. And that also gave me more of a feeling that he really wasn't bluffing towards the end of all their fighting, with the guy with the wings just getting bodied over and over, and him using skills that if he were to spam them non-stop, it would have been a whole different type of fight when the first guy came in. And it was definitely more personal, because he wanted to do the slicing himself, and he didn't want to throw any cards to allow the guy who supposedly killed the announcer to just get away with not feeling the wrath of him doing it himself. Every cut was practically him. So I do like that aspect of showcasing it, because imagine trying to watch this show and not even think about that, right? Like, you don't even think about how far he goes out of his way to try to manhandle this person who has, you know, clearly started talking trash and also took out someone that could have been a friend. But clearly he was a nice guy. He had a family, and from what I could tell, these commissioners haven't been shown to have families, and I don't think they should, seeing how their boss is. He seems like someone that would not recommend them having kids, and the announcer seemed more like a person who wasn't as skilled. But then I can't say that either, because he swung a sword, and how much wind and gusts popped up from a blind man like himself. He had to have been pretty strong to actually have the person who used the sword of the girl use a technique against him that actually blinded him. So there's also all that to take in. So while all that's happening, we go back to the ring, and our main character hits some pressure points on his body to unlock a latent power, so he's even stronger than he already is going to be during this. And it backfires completely, and he is taken out first round, absolutely stomped by someone that seemingly is trash, or he just got the worst end of the stick and didn't have to use any of his power to actually showcase if he's strong or not. So that was also something very interesting to take in as a whole, is Was the person that our main character got beaten by have the same type of ability as all the other two, where they can manifest their weapons out of thin air? And seeing that Thor hammer get absolutely destroyed by our main guy, our second main guy, I should say, our Sasuke to the Naruto, um, he, man, he truly shows up every single fight, besides the fight where he fought his, our main character, which, when I say show up, I'm saying he shows up and wins. He has no problem putting down what he's got to do. And as of right now, it's pretty clear the dynamic of the levels, and I feel like the girl on our team is going to be ridiculously broken if she can do something remotely similar to the woman she fights this week, which her fight was okay. It ended definitely the way I expected it to, just because of how she broke her bamboo stick, and then the girl broke her wooden sword with the power, but then she just absolutely outskilled her, outmatched her, outclassed her in every way, sense, and form, beating her even when she doesn't have a weapon, showcasing her weapon is just a bonus. At some point, she can still absolutely humiliate you with just whatever she has as her, whatever she can get her hands on, she'll probably destroy people with. But if she can't get her hands on anything, she'll just destroy you with her hands. I like that. Overall, though, that happens, and then another fight takes place where my absolute fear of being eaten alive starts to just flare up when I see this week's episode, man. I kid you not, seeing this teeth pop out, like, he's, first of all, the guy who is completely like devilish, he uses the teeth as like projectiles, and he hits two people with them, and they're just like suspended in air once they get hit, or they're just kind of like frozen. And then he's like, okay, now I'm just gonna kick you inside the beast's mouth and let you get eaten by it. Good luck. It's like, bro, I do not want to be on the wrong end of you ever. And not to mention the simple fact that he was still capable of blitzing the guy without the monster, right? Like, he didn't even, that was just a bonus on his side, is this monster. So it showcased that he is capable of doing some ridiculous stuff by himself, and he's very confident having one hand tucked away throughout all of this as well. So we got the main cast, we got another fight starting in the ring, and then outside we had the best moment of everybody just going all out with their beast and using abilities and absolutely trying to catch each other off guard, trying to kill each other. And even at the end of the day, when the assassin who wasn't supposed to be there gets self-destructed, which I think is just a natural thing all the Nox are gonna have, something to keep them all quiet type of deal, like, I don't want you talking, so we're going to just blow you up, try to take the enemy out with you, do as much damage as you can to the enemy, so once you blow up, maybe you take them out with you, and if you don't, you are really useless, so we'll have to see if that is the case, if all of them have that, or if it's just like lower ranked soldiers, because they don't want them spreading the word, and they know that these guys that just got away, they knew they were outclassed and outgunned, and they dipped. They were out, which is really smart. To be fair, one of them did go all the way out, like all out, and pretty much lost, while the other person took up the slack and retreated for both of them. And it's just safe to say, man, that there's so much they can do in this show. Like, a lot of things still have not been explained. A lot of things still haven't even happened for our main characters, right? Like, we're gonna probably get some awakenings here soon of them maybe using the ability to manifest weapons, or them having their own types of beasts that can pretty much phase through walls, because the dragon that pops up this week and goes through the wall and attacks the monster with the eyes, who should have been able to see it coming, it looks like he didn't break anything, right? He just phased through the building in general. So not only can these things show up, they don't even have to cause destruction to make themselves known in certain aspects, or maybe that's how much control these commissioners have over theirs compared to other people who seemingly have to actually like fuse their, like, that guy had wings, you know. It feels like he fused himself with his beast or something to give him those, or maybe that's just his manifestation. But it wouldn't make sense because he also manifested a blade that he was using, and he was just throwing them. Like, he would throw a blade and they would just disintegrate because of either the commissioner or because the power inside of them are just draining away or something. I am not completely sure. But I'll tell you one thing, I really did enjoy myself, and I hope y'all are having a good one. I will definitely talk to you sooner than later. I apologize for dropping this video multiple times. Every single one of the videos were different every time, but let me hear what you guys got to say about the God of High School, and I will definitely talk to you in the next one. Alright, peace.